if I change it, it's going to be executive orders from the top. Because guess what? It's accurate. If you go out with a porn star before you threw a damn pass, for a particular season anyway, all right, and you're more recognized for that date than you are for any damn touchdown passes you threw in the season because you got hurt in game 2, well, damn it, the reason why you're relevant is that you're porn star Jimmy. So I don't see the problem. Then I'm not a part. And by the way, to Jimmy Garoppolo and the family of Jimmy Garoppolo, it is not an insult. You understand? To each his own. Young single man, good-looking dude, can quarterback, protege, working behind Tom Brady, clearly has some skills. Bill Belichick wanted to keep you. You were 7-0 in your first 7 starts as a quarterback. Haven't been able to stay healthy. Got hurt in New England. Got hurt when you got to San Francisco. After you got $137 million, by the way. And oh, by the way, he went out with the porn star after he got the $137 million contract. Not before. So it wasn't like she was out with porn star Jimmy before he got paid. But that's neither here nor there. The point is it happened. And that's okay. So I just wanted to say that, okay? And for those out there that are younger and all of that other stuff, adult film star. Does that sound better? I like porn star Jimmy, though. It works. Anyway, back to Porzingis. You know, there's a bigger story going on here that everybody needs to pay attention to when it comes to the NBA. What you have is a situation, you got to remember, when LeBron James elected to leave Cleveland to go to Miami, say what you will about him, but he was a free agent. He spent the first 7 years of his career in Cleveland. He wanted a different experience. He went to South Beach on his own after he served his time in Cleveland. He went to Miami. He gave them 4 years, got them to 4 straight NBA Finals appearances, won 2 championships, elected to take his services back to Cleveland. But he was already a free agent, okay? Whether we like it or not, he did his time. He honored his commitment. When he was free to go elsewhere, that's what he did. That's not what's happening now. That's not what happened with Carmelo Anthony when he forced his way out of Denver. That's not what what's happening, or what happened with Kyrie Irving when he forced his way out of Cleveland. That's not what happened with Anthony Davis now, who's trying to force his way out of New Orleans. And so what you have is, if you think for 1 second that this is about the Lakers and the Lakers getting an Anthony Davis, for example, you're missing the boat. This is about the NBA with various teams in various small markets collaborating with one another in an effort to try to influence the New Orleans Pelicans to stop them from shipping him to L.A. Because if you capitulate to those demands, to a guy that is a superstar but is under contract for the next year and a half, you've completely depleted and wiped out the power that a team has to hold you to your contract. That's why when Kawhi Leonard wanted to leave San Antonio, Greg Popovich and the Spurs sent them out of the country to Toronto. They said, you can go to L.A. if you want to, but it's not going to be through our hands. It's going to be through somebody else's hands, because we're not giving you that power. And they're encouraging New Orleans to not give Anthony Davis that power. The New York Knicks capitulating and giving away Porzingis, in a lot of people's eyes, they caved. And that's what people have a problem with. I think the difference with the New York Knicks is that it's to their disadvantage, or it would have been to their disadvantage, to keep Porzingis. Because if he signed a qualifying, he basically went into the room, ladies and gentlemen, and said, if you keep me, I'm going to sign a qualifying offer. That qualifying offer, which would happen to happen this summer, is a 1-year deal. After you sign the qualifying offer, you are an unrestricted free agent, free to go elsewhere the following year without them getting any compensation whatsoever. They couldn't risk that, particularly approaching a free agent summer this year where they were trying to get a marquee player to come, because you were willing to stand there and say, I don't want to be here and y'all shouldn't want to come either, because this ain't the place to be. They couldn't have him there, particularly if he was in a position to sign a qualifying offer, which he says he would have done. So that's where you have your problem. They had to get rid of him. New Orleans doesn't have to do that with Anthony Davis. New Orleans can sit there and stand pat and say, we're going to wait till the summer because there's a host of other teams that want him and may offer us a boatload for his services. Why should we just give in to what the Lakers want with 10 days notice before the NBA trading deadline expires when we can buy ourselves a few months, wait until the summer, and see what you got to offer us? That's the difference. So Porzingis and Anthony Davis is not the same, but both situations have raised the antennas of league owners throughout those small markets in the NBA who says we don't like caving to these big market teams. Something has to be done. So it's not just Anthony Davis against the Pelicans. It's Anthony Davis against every small market team in the NBA who wants to stop him to send a message that you cannot ignore your contractual obligation to us. And on top of that, he's a young brother. So you're a young brother wielding that kind of power. You got billionaire white owners that don't like that. That's the real story going on in the NBA. And guess what? I side with the billionaire white owners. And I'm going to explain to y'all why in just a minute. Stick around. You're listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio, ESPN News. Ryan Clark, Sal Palantonio, the heavyweight champion of the world, Deontay Wilder. All of them are coming up on the Stephen A. Smith Show right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN News. That was Straight Talk Wireless nationwide coverage on America's largest and most dependable 4G LTE networks. By the way, do you have frequent heartburn? Like the kind where you have an acid stashed everywhere in case it pops up? You know what I mean. You keep some in your bag or your desk or your car or your nightstand. You have those chalky tablets ready for whenever and wherever heartburn strikes. Well, listen up. There's an easier way to deal with your heartburn. That's Prilosec OTC. Just one pill a day will last a full 24 hours with zero heartburn. So kick your antacid habit. It's possible with Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief. Back to your calls and more in a minute, and I'll break down to you why those white billionaires